So it's a patient who she was diagnosed with microscopic colitis by her practitioner, and it had been going
her
on.
GI, I'm assuming.
Her GI, yeah, and so having diarrhea 16 times a day on up, not all the time, but up and down for the last 2 years, and so she had been on steroids. She tried a couple different things, but so when she came to us, we it just seemed like mainly a GI case, nothing outside of that. And so got her on some paleo low FODMAP diet, got her on the probiotics, had her do an elemental reset for a couple days, and we followed up, and she was 75% better just after those initial recommendations. So, and I know we've had a couple cases where somebody with this microscopic colitis, they did that pretty similar approach, and they got significantly better.
Right.
So after that, we pivoted to herbal antimicrobials, and we just followed up recently. In the first 3 weeks of being on the first round of herbals, she said she felt the best that she's felt in years. Like she felt fantastic. But then week 4, and then week 5 and 6, she was flaring. So she had been flaring pretty much back to how she was at her baseline. And so back to loose stool all the time. And she was very disappointed in this. We followed up, and we were talking through it, just trying to problem solve what was going on. And so when she told me that it was the first 3 weeks, she felt great on the herbals, and then after that she flared. One interpretation could have been, "Oh, great, we're killing things. This is good. We're going to push through this." But we took a different approach. And so the first thing I want to bring up is that healing, it doesn't always happen in a
Wait,
straight.
what was the different approach? You had her stop?
So we had her stop the herbals, revisit the elemental reset, and the low FODMAP diet. So she had expanded her diet from there. So we basically just revisited the things that worked really well to get her to where she was. So we didn't have to add in any novel therapies. We just by listening to her and saying, okay, the first 3 weeks you did really well. The 4th week and the 5th and 6th, maybe the herbals were just irritating your gut more, and we achieved what we needed to achieve. Maybe let's pause those, go back to doing what you were doing in terms of the reset, elemental diet reset, probiotics.
Yeah, this is where
low FODMAP.
the practicality is so crucially important, because like you're alluding to, depending on your philosophy, you could have a whole bunch of theories. Well, maybe we've killed the hydrogen, but now there's methane, or maybe it's hydrogen sulfide, or maybe it's a biofilm. So we've got to go deeper. We've got to do more. And I don't know how bad this is occurring in the field, but I suspect it's happening to some extent, which is at that inflection point, you go down this path of more is better, and to solve the problem, we need to add things.
New things.
And then for these people, that may be the opposite of what you should do, and then they get worse. And what ends up happening, down the road from this fork on the road, on the path that you don't want to be down, is someone starts to get convinced that they're a chronic, complex, complicated case. And what a travesty, right? Whereas if we just revisited the clues from what worked previously and did those things and went with the more simplified path, then you get better within maybe a month, and you don't go down this road where you spend money and have this sort of fusion of a picture of yourself wherein you're a complicated, chronic, complex case, and all the bad things that accompany that, right? The worry, maybe the restriction of the diet, the reclusion from social activity, the reduction in exercise. So, these things really do compound in either a positive or a negative direction.